Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first Hunger Games of Round 30. As you'll notice, I have turned everyone into furries, and that's not the only thing. I've also heavily modified the event as well, so it should be a little more brutal. Now let's see, who do we want to pick for our top 3 to win? I think I'm going to go based off of pictures. Beach, Miss Psychotic, or Pastel. So let's get into this. The Bloodbath. As the podium, God, I've already made so many errors before, but let's keep going. As the tributes stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. Sue, Recompense, they both run away from the cornucopia, wanting nothing to do with the battle. Scarlet finds a bag full of explosives. Wonder what's going to happen with those. Millionaire snatches a pair of size and runs. Sniper Killer takes a spear from inside of the cornucopia and waits to allure a victim. RA also finds a bag full of explosives. I feel like some people are going to get blown up and it's going to be spectacular. Anorexicist, despite looking like he can fight, runs away from the cornucopia. I'm going to take a drink. Park Soo-jin finds a bag full of explosives. Jeez. Field is littered with it. Fishin takes a sickle from inside the cornucopia. I wonder if they'll meet up and fight. T-Cross runs away from the cornucopia. Sighted runs away from the cornucopia. Juicy Lucy grabs his shield, leaning on the cornucopia, and runs away. You think he'd have grabbed a spear or something too. Oh, and our first death. Tilt strangles Heartache with a rope. How unfortunate. Zeus runs. Killa runs. Zbanga runs. Eris runs. Wow, everyone's running. Hunter Dragon runs. Sinister takes a sickle from inside the cornucopia. Marshall finds a canteen full of water. Thirsty runs away from the cornucopia. I don't even know how to say this name, so I'm not going to say it. Finds a bag full of explosives. Dale 9087 runs away from the cornucopia. Tronic snatches a bottle of alcohol and a rag. Xavier runs away. Payne runs away. Miss Psychotic runs away. Pastel finds a bow, some arrows, and a quiver. Aphrodite also finds a bow, some arrows, and a quiver. Maybe they'll team up. Oh, how unfortunate. Erebus falls into a pit and dies. Sus X kills the car dealer for her supplies. That's one way to do it. Jockeys runs. Mixie throws a knife into Gem Bulb's head. Oh. Just imagine how that went down. If you're not picturing it, you should be. The One runs. Partisans also grabs a shield leaning on the cornucopia. He could have had two if he took them with him. A1 grabs a shield. Just, I can imagine someone grabbing 3 shields and just running into battle, just ramming people for fun. Orca snatches a bottle of alcohol and a rag. Pyrite snatches a pair of size. Slated runs. Billy Mays runs. I thought one said hides in the cornucopia. I was like, man, that's new. Hermes runs away from the cornucopia. Free Kill Point snatches a bottle and a rag. Cookies runs away. Beach runs away. And Tabitha finds a bow, arrow, and some quivers. No, honestly, I'm kind of disappointed. I feel like there should have been a little more death, but let's proceed. Day 1. I gotta take a drink. Tilt receives medical. Blah, 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 blah. This take is just gonna be full of errors. I can feel it now. Because we only ever do one. Well, minus the, the starting phase where I test like 5 to 50 times. Tilt receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Sinister receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Tronix receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Orca can't handle the circumstances and just commits suicide. You think a shark would be tough, but, Mixie begs for Sussy X to kill him. She reluctantly obliges, killing Mixie. You guys are only on day 1. How can you be this suicidal? Sue receives explosives. And Thirsty, well, turns himself into a bush. He doesn't want any part of it. Juicy Lucy makes a wooden spear, out for blood. Fishin searches for a water source. Slater receives fresh blood. Got blood on the mind. Food from an unknown sponsor. A1 searches for a water source. Payne receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Miss Psychotic searches for a water source. Hermes God falls into a pit and dies. I left in a lot of the funny deaths. I'm still waiting for the stick to pop up. Killer receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Recompense searches for a water source. Pyrite receives explosive from an unknown sponsor. Eris receives explosive from an unknown sponsor. Oh wow. I had to say that twice and didn't even realize it. Dale stabs Jockey in the back with a trident. Oh, painful. Right through the shoulder blades. Billy Mays receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. A lot of sponsors in this one. They must be really interested, being round 30 and all. Tabitha makes a wooden spear, also out for blood. Zeus, more explosives. Yet we've not seen anyone die by him yet. The one receives medical supplies. Park Soo Jin just camouflages herself into the bushes, obviously played one too many RPGs in her life. T. Karas receives medical supplies. Millionaire searches for a water source. Zibanga receives medical supplies. Oh, how unfortunate. Scarlet dies from hypothermia. This guy, he got some medicine. Pastel receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Ooh. Unable to treat his infections out in the cold, he dies, of an infection. Rob receives medical supplies. Marshall receives explosives. Sighted turns into a bush because that's what everyone wants to do. Either commit suicide or be bush. Hashtag bush life. Cookies receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Almost said blood again. Beach also receives explosives. And Hunter turns into a bush. I might have messed up on eliminating some things. Everyone's just becoming bushes. Or receiving stuff. Oh well. Partisans receives medical supplies. Freakilla bashes Xavier's head against a rock several times. Oh, how brutal. Aphrodite receives fresh food. And Anorexicist turns into a bush. Beautiful. And after day 1, we have 11 fallen tributes. Let's take a look at everyone's stats so far, just so you guys can see it, something random, something new, something you ain't seen before, even if you're even watching. But I'll never know. Millionaire receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Park Zoo and Killa hold hands. Ooh, maybe something's forming there. Eris passes out from exhaustion. Stangaha looks at the night sky. Knew I should have never tried that. Pyrite receives fresh food. Tilt passes out from exhaustion. And Billy Mays, the smart guy, just goes to sleep. Partisan looks at the night sky. Cantronics convinces T-Cross to snuggle with her. Ooh, something a little ooh la la going on, eh? Kaba goes to sleep. R.A. passes out from exhaustion. And Aphrodite, was walking around the start and, they found a landmine. And, it wasn't pretty. Cookies tries to sing herself to sleep, having no luck. Dale 9087 questions his sanity. Sinister, never having found a source of water, dies from thirst, even though it's only 2 days in. Zeus dies from hypothermia. Thirsty receives a hatchet. Anorexicist screams for help because he can't get out of his bush form. Oh. Oh, you see, guys, I'm going to be honest. Miss Psychotic and Beach, their pictures, they're my favorite. I love them. But Free Kill Point and Miss Psychotic work together to drown Beach. Now I gotta hope for Miss Psychotic to win. Marshall receives medical supplies. Sighted passes out from exhaustion. Christian goes to sleep. Juicy Lucy questions her sanity. Slated dies from hypothermia. Wow, this has got to be the least bloodbath-filled game, and it's my fault because I thought I was changing it for the better. Sue convinces A1 to snuggle with her. Pastel climbs a tree to rest. Oh my god. There's also a death where if a person falls out of a tree and they land on someone, they kill both of them. I don't want Pastel to die because I love that picture, but at the same time I want to see it happen. Hunter Dragon receives clean water. The one questions her sanity. Sus X climbs a tree to rest. Recompense tries to sing himself to sleep. Plane receives fresh food. And Z-Bang dies trying to escape the arena. Not a smart move. We have snipers on standpoint at all times. You will not get away from us. Day 2. Hunter Dragon turns himself into a bush, as everyone seems to be doing. Psychotic receives medical supplies. Sighted searches for a water source. Park Soo-jin receives food. Thirsty receives an explosive. T-Cross receives medical supplies. Eris receives explosives. Sus X receives fresh food. Jesus, no one's gonna kill each other into like the bloodbath, and then it's gonna be major. Lose like 30 people in one day. Taba receives fresh food. Anorexicist receives medical supplies. Partisan receives fresh food. At least no one's gonna die of starvation, though people have died of thirst, which is weird. Standhangaha makes a wooden spear. Payne receives a hatchet. Sue receives explosives. Martian millionaire receives fresh food. Free Kill Point makes a wooden spear. Pastel searches for a water source. Billy, live in the bush life. Juicy makes a spear. If his first one broke after he tried to make a kill and it went off a cliff. RA receives fresh food. A1 receives medical supplies to tend to his wounds. Pyrite makes a wooden spear. And so does Killa. Maybe they teamed up and made it together, who knows? Tronics receives fresh food. Fishgen dies of hypothermia. Recompense receives medical supplies. Tilt receives explosives. Cookies makes a wooden spear. And Dale receives a hatchet. Oh, wow. 7 people. How sad. There's Beach. Oh, and Slated. I love that picture too. Night 2. Juicy goes to sleep. T-Cross quietly hums. Billy Mays receives a hatchet. R.A. tries to sing himself to sleep. Dale sets up camp for the night. Marshall starts a fire to hopefully cook some food. Stuckalaha climbs a tree to rest. Tronics questions her sanity. Cookies passes out from exhaustion. Thirsty looks at the night sky. Wow, I sound like a robot. But you know, hey, it's gotta be done, right? Pastel climbs a tree to rest yet again. Yet no one's died from it yet. Tilt questions his sanity. Hunter Dragon sets up a camp for the night. Recompense looks at the night sky. Eris passes out from exhaustion, worn out from trying to hunt down a water source. I got my water source right next to me. Bloop. The one questions her sanity. Killa strangles Pyrite with a rope. How brutal. Anorexicist receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Sue tries to sing herself to sleep. Park Soo-jin receives explosives. Tabitha quietly hums. Free Killer Point shoots an arrow at Miss Psychotic but misses and kills Millionaire instead. Miss Psychotic got the reflexes. It's gonna be the final one. Payne attempts to climb a tree but falls on Partisan, killing them both. Oh, that's one of my favorite deaths. I'm just waiting for the stick now. Sus sets off an explosive, killing Sighted. Hey, the explosive's finally coming into play. A1 quietly hums. Day 3. Tilt receives explosives. Hunter Dragon receives a hatchet. T-Cross makes a spear. Killa receives a hatchet. Thirsty receives a hatchet. Recompense begs for Taba to kill him. She reluctantly obliges, killing Recompense. Can I just stop and say that 90% of the deaths in my supposed bloodbath have been suicide, assisted suicide, or people turning into bushes? I hope the bloodbath is at least beautiful to make up for this. Sus X receives a hatchet. Miss Psychotic receives a hatchet. Oh god, that's dangerous. Anorexicist receives a hatchet. Oh, he receives explosives. My mind's gone numb. Juicy receives food. Pastel receives a hatchet. Tronic searches for a water source. Cookies makes a wooden spear. Eris attempts to climb a tree but falls on Stagna, killing them both. Haha! I don't have to say your name anymore. Haha! Yeah. Billy Mays searches for a water source. Marshall receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. A1 receives a hatchet. And Sue bashes Dale's head against a rock several times. Makes me think of Gravity Falls, the several times members. Free Kill Point camouflages himself into a bush. R, having noticed him do it, does the same. Park Soo-jin receives a hatchet. The one receives fresh food. 9 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. And the rolling of my mouse wheel. Night 3. T-Cross sings himself to sleep. Sue quietly hums. Marshall falls into a pit and dies. How unfortunate. A lot of pitfall traps, too. A1 quietly hums. Billy Mays goes to sleep. Cookies receives fresh blood food from an unknown sponsor. Tonic tries to sing herself to sleep. Pastel convinces Hunter Dragon to snuggle with him. Ooh la la. Tababa receives explosives. The one sets up camp for the night. R.A. and Juicy Lucy holding hands. What could go on with that? Park Soo-jin receives clean water. Sus X starts a fire. Miss Psychotic tries to sing herself to sleep. Will it work? Or will she be raging in the morning, swinging that axe, taking out every life in her path? I know which word I'm hoping for. Killa hums quietly. Thirsty receives fresh food. Free kill point accidentally dude blows himself up. It's very hilarious. We caught it on camera. We clipped it. We sent it everywhere. It's got like 1 million views. More than this channel's gonna get, but you know, it happened. An Erexorcist climbs a tree to rest. And Tilted accidentally detonates a landmine while trying to arm it. Let's just say that video didn't make it out because he also blew up our cameras. Day 4. The one receives a hatchet. Tronix receives explosives. RA searches for water. A1 receives a hatchet. Ooh. Pastel decapitates Taba with a sword. Wait, weren't they just snuggling the other night? I've always said snuggling equals death. Sue and Killa, they live in the bush life. They just vibin'. Hunter receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Juicy Lucy receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Some of these sponsors need to be known so I can kick their ass for showing up so much in this one. Sus X searches for a water source. Thirsty, true to his name, is searching for a water source as well. And Erexorcist dies trying to escape the arena. I told you this, guys. Snipers on point, they never miss. They have a 100% shot ratio. Park Soo-jin receives medical supplies. Miss Psychotic searches for a water source. T-Cross receives medical supplies. Cookies makes a wooden spear. Billy Mays receives a hatchet. 5 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Night 4. The one tries to sing herself to sleep. Sue climbs a tree to rest. A1 receives explosives. T-Cross convinces Sussex to snuggle with them. A lot of snuggle bugs in this one. Maybe it's just because they're furries, who knows. Billy Mays screams for help. Dangling off the side of a cliff. Will he make it? Find out. Probably tomorrow. Pastel trap kills Hunter Dragon. Okay, I know those two were snuggling. The snuggling death trap. That's beautiful. Miss Psychotic climbs a tree to rest. Park Soo-jin sets up camp for the night. Juicy Lucy screams for help because he saw whoever was dangling off the cliff, and he thought, I will scream for help in a death game because that makes sense. Thirsty looks at the night sky, admiring its projected beauty. Cookies receives clean water. Killer receives medical supplies. RA receives explosives. And Tronix, well, he just starts a fire. Probably out cooking the fish he caught. The feast! The cornucopias are replenished with food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs from the tributes' families, and with that I'm taking a drink. Ah, delicious. RA ambushes T-Cross and kills him. Miss Psychotic, the smart one, decides not to go to the feast. Thirsty, on his way to the feast, falls into a pit trap and dies. Likely set up by Miss Psychotic. Sue decided not to go to the feast. Billy, as well, decided he was too far and didn't want to go. Pastel decided too much risk, they're not going. Park Soo-jin, they forgot what the feast was and just didn't go. The one sobs while gripping a photo of her family and friends, knowing she's probably never seen them again. He, or she, I don't know. I don't change the genders on here, so it gets confusing sometimes. Okay, Juicy Lucy and Cookies are family members. Happen to be my family members as well. Juicy Lucy decapitates Cookies with a sword. Oh my god, they're gonna eat it up when they hear this. Killa bleeds out due to untreated injuries. How unfortunate. Sus X decides not to go to the feast. Tronix decides not to go either. And A1, after doing virtually nothing, decided he also can't handle it and commits suicide. Beautiful, beautiful. Day 5. RA searches for a water source. Delicious. Juicy turns into a bush because, well, why not? Pastel receives fresh food. Here it is, finally. Billy Mays stabs Tronic with a tree branch. Oh, I would pay to see that in real life. Park Soo-jin receives searches for a water source. I've already got the queued up in my brain. The one receives explosives. Miss Psychotic turns into a bush. Sue turns into a bush. And Sussex receives medical supplies. 7 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Night 5. Sussex goes to sleep. Sue kills Juicy Lucy with a hatchet. Pastel receives a hatchet. The one passes out from exhaustion. Miss Psychotic receives a hatchet. RA convinces Park Soo-jin to snuggle with him. And Billy Mays, having caught nothing and been able to well, he was only able to spear the one guy, and he couldn't eat that, so he dies from hunger. Day 6. Sue falls into a frozen lake and drowns. Funny story, I actually had a friend who fell into a frozen lake, and I had to freaking run out on the ice knowing I can't swim just to pull his ass out of it. He was also the guy who helped film the execution video on my channel. Well, I mean, you're probably watching this from Gangster Nation, or maybe you're watching it from YouTube, and maybe you've already clicked off, or maybe you've already clicked to the end, but who knows? You know what? If you've watched this far, text me the word Old Spice. I'll give you 50 credits. I mean, that's not bad, right? And this offer only applies to one person, so the first who does it. I'll even send a little screenshot in chat. Now let's get back to the games. The one lives the bush life. Pastel receives food. Sussex searches for a water source. An RA receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. How many people are left? Let's check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, there's only 6 people left. Okay. We got Park Soo-jin, Miss Psychotic, Raw, The One, Pastel, Sussex. Out of all of them, I gotta go for Miss Psychotic. Nope, that's it. That's the only one I really want to win now. Let's get back. 3 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Night 6. Park Soo-jin severely slices Sussex with a sword, leaving him fatally wounded. Miss Psychotic, after having gone on for 6 days without sleep, passes out from exhaustion. Pastel tries to sing herself to sleep. RA starts a fire trying to attract attention so he can maybe get a kill. The one receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Day 7. Miss Psychotic and Park Soo-jin work together to drown RA. Now see, teaming up this late in the game does not seem right. The one receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor, but I mean, hey, a kill's a kill. Pastel receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. 2 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Let's see. We got Park Soo-jin, Miss Psychotic, The One, and Pastel. Wonder who's gonna win it. Night 7. Oh, no! Miss Psychotic cannot handle the circumstance and commits suicide. No, all my hopes and dreams were on you. Pastel and The One hold hands. We know this trick with Pastel. He's going to end up with an axe to the head or something. And Park Soo-jin looks at the projected sky, wondering how the hell they got it so accurate. Proceed. Day 8. Pastel makes a spear. Out for blood. Ready to hunt down the last 2 tributes alive. The one turns into a bush. And Park Soo-jin, deciding there's only 2 other people left, he's going to bush life it, because that's what this game is about. We didn't get an arena event. Everyone just bushed and killed themselves. Some bullshit. Or bush shit. However you want to say it. One cannon shot can be heard in the distance. So sad. Night 8. Luan dies from an infection. How unfortunate. And Park Soo-jin kills Pastel for his supplies. Wow. You get down to the final 2, and the reason for your kill is for their supplies. I mean, I guess. And that overall means that the winner is Park Soo-jin from District 2. Congratulations. Now let's go over some of the placement stats, just so you guys get a good idea of what you got to do and what you didn't do and what you can do better next time. Next time, you guys gotta send me a theme. I'll pick out pictures individually for each of you. I got random for these ones. And here's a summary. I think it'd be awesome. I'm kind of thinking of a lot of things right now. And there you go, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one.